Suppose you receive two invitations to two different Christmas parties scheduled at the same time. Which will you choose? The one hosted by your former coworker who got fired last year and had to move in back with their parents in their trailer park, or your old high school buddy who became a medical doctor and just moved back in town. As much as I hate to admit it, I would rather go to a fabulous party in a brand new mansion hosted by my physician friend and then come up with some silly excuse for missing the event in a trailer park. It's not only about better selection of food and drinks, but also about presumed cleanliness, pleasant or unpleasant smells, and general feelings of comfort. Truth be told, most of us, even though very few are truly rich or even middle class, feel out of our comfort zone in the presence of true poverty. Given a choice, we would opt for door number 2. Thank God, and pun is intended, God is fine with being in the midst of poverty. God is perfectly comfortable in the presence of the poor and those with broken lives. As a matter of fact, God prefers the company of those who don't know if there is enough food in their fridge until their next payday. To those who throw away spoiled leftovers from that fancy restaurant. Prophet Isaiah, in today's first reading, foretells of God's anointed one who will be sent to bring glad tidings to the poor and to heal the brokenhearted. And to make clear that we know who that anointed one is, Luke in his gospel has Jesus read this very chapter of Isaiah as his very first words ever spoken in public. Both Luke chapter 4 and Isaiah chapter 61 leave no doubt as to who is the main addressee or partner of God's engagement in the world: the poor and those whose lives are ruined or broken beyond repair. Unlike us, unlike you and me, God is fine with a dirty trailer park futon. Unlike us, God is perfectly comfortable with a cheap spam sandwich served on a pre-used paper plate. Unlike us, God would rather spend Christmas night in a dirty stable with an awful stench of sheep and cattle than in an impressive mansion with fine catered dishes and exquisite cocktails. Christmas carols, especially those that contain the glad tidings, are not about the romanticized feelings of joy around the Christmas tree. The glad tidings are not about the sterilized images of the rosy-cheeked baby Jesus blessing newly shampooed baby lamb. The glad tidings of Isaiah 61 and Luke 4 speak about God's preferential option for the poor. In 1968, the Superior General of the Jesuit Order, Father Pedro Arrupe, wrote about the preferential option for the poor in the letter to his Jesuit brothers and priests. And it changed the theological conversation for decades to come. It has shamed Christians everywhere who realize that the people God prefers are exactly the people we avoid. It has thrown buckets of cold water on pious people who are perfectly comfortable in marble churches and sanctuaries, but not in homeless shelters. It has rained on the parade of charismatic preachers and pastors who seek new members among those with thick wallets and not those in line to the unemployment office. The preferential option for the poor has made a martyr out of Oscar Romero, formerly conservative Catholic archbishop who turned his life around after experiencing firsthand the cry of the poor of his diocese of San Salvador. The preferential option for the poor is also what Virgin Mary sings about in her Magnificat. For God exalts the poor and the lowly, but the rich he sends away empty. The preferential option for the poor invites you and me to step out of our comfort zones and to find God where God is, not where we would rather have God be. Amen.